Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a reveal text effect inside of DaVinci Resolve 17. So the idea is that as one of these arrows travels across the screen, it's going to show more and more of the text as it moves across. So the way I'm going to handle this is adding text and a masking effect over on the Fusion page. So we can actually do this right on this arrows clip. So I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to go down here to the Fusion tab, click in, and then you should see media in and media out at the bottom of the screen. So here we're going to add in the nodes for text and then a masking node. So you can use different shapes for mask, but if you want to keep things really simple, you could just use a rectangle shape. So in order to add some 2D text, I'm just going to use a text plus node, and then linking into here with this little blue triangle, the effect mask connector, I'm going to click on rectangle, which will automatically become the masking shape for that text. Okay, so now we need to add some text to the text1 node. So I'm going to put in the text reveal text, but you won't see anything appear on screen right now because we haven't actually connected it into the media out. You'll notice that media out 1 is the preview here. So if I hover over text and I make this the preview on the right side, then that will fill up the screen, but we want that to end up on the media out. So in order to make that happen, we need to add a merge node, combining the media n1 as the background with text1 as the foreground. So I'm going to right click, go to add tool, composite, and then merge. And so take media n1, connect that to the orange background connector of merge1, text1 to the green foreground connector of merge1. Disconnect media n1 from media out by clicking on the line on the right hand side and then connect merge 1 to media out. So now we should be able to somewhat see our text on screen, but you can see it's white right now and hard to see. So I'm going to click on text 1. Let's go to shading, and I'm going to do shading elements, select element 3 so that we get the black shadow. I'm going to enable that, and that'll allow us to see the text a lot better. So this adds drop shadow to the text. Another thing we could do is click on text and change the color of the text. So I'm going to change it to a very bright yellow. Yellow on black is going to be more visible here than white on black with a white background. And then let's also crank up the size of the text as big as you want it to be. Note, if you make it bigger than the box of the rectangle mask, you can see it's not going to be visible there. So you can always just click on rectangle and stretch the size of that mask if you need to, and make it as big as you want. Let's click on text again, and I'm going to increase the size. I'll just make it gigantic, and let's make the box very large as well. So now we need to pick a arrow in the video for this text to track with the reveal effect. So I'm going to hit play, and we'll find an arrow which we can use to reveal the text onto the screen. So this big one in the background, that seems pretty solid, a good choice. So the first thing I'm going to do is move this text up a little bit. So click on the text node, and let's move this up so that it kind of matches the position of the arrow. That'll make the effect make a little more sense. And then you can click on the rectangle node, and we're going to move it off the screen so that it's completely invisible. So now we find the point in time where the object entering the screen, in this case the arrow, actually gets there at the exact frame. So let's find that frame where it enters. So we can see right there that the arrow is invisible. It's right off the screen, just like our masking box. So I'm going to keyframe the position, which is center XY, at that point in time. So now we need to have it follow the arrow across time. So let's just go all the way to the end where the arrow actually leaves the box. So that would be right around here for this video clip, around 220 frames. You can decide at what point you want the arrow to actually reveal by just moving the masking box to that point in time. So we have frame 220. Keyframes are enabled over here in the inspector because we already set a keyframe. So we just need to grab this box over to the point where it should be revealing the text. So we could put it right there where the white starts to show again, or we can go more like right around here where the text can actually fit all the way. So now between frames 140 and 220, the text should reveal because this is going to move across the screen. And you can see the center X position is changing. You can see the visual indicator there, and this is the keyframe right over here. So if I moved this, that would actually be changing the values at that point in time. So I'm going to Control Z or Command Z and undo that so that it's as we set up before. So let's go ahead and hit play and test it out. We can see our text is being revealed. Right at the end there, it stops a little bit too early. So we're going to need to go a little further and add another keyframe, or you can just adjust this keyframe to that point. So here I'm just going to move the box over further to the right. So if we put it right about there, that should still match it pretty well. And let's go back in time, hit play and test, make sure it's still revealing at the speed we want it to be. And it does work, everything gets onto the screen. So we will need a few more adjustments though, because we can see at the early points in time that the text is being revealed a little too fast. So let's add some extra keyframe points in so that that doesn't happen. So I'm going to take this position and move it off screen a bit, and that'll adjust the timing. So let's go back, hit play, and see how that follows everything. Still a little fast, so I'll go over here. Let's move the position back to right about there. And let's watch it again. So we just need the text to reveal after the point in time where the arrow has passed it. So at this point in time with the current keyframings, it's moving pretty well. So if you wanted to as well, you could open up this blind curve editor and you can click on each of the keyframe points where you get these Bezier curve handles. And you could adjust these in order to control the easing between points, basically controlling how fast it accelerates as it gets between point A and point B. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a linear speed like this. You could have it start really slow and then go really fast in order to get to the point over there. I'm not going to mess around with that because I think that's a little bit excessive for what we're doing here. So for the most part, just play around with the keyframe points and check that on each frame it is not showing up too fast. So here I might pull it back a little bit. And after getting enough keyframe points, you should be able to get the animation to match the movement of the object across the screen pretty well. So there's one problem here still, which is that as the mask moves onto the screen and it reveals part of the characters, it's all or nothing. There's no in between here. It's either visible or it's not visible. And I think that does not look very good to look at. So a very easy setting you can add to smooth this transition out is soft edge. So click on your rectangle mask and then move the soft edge slider somewhere in from the default value of 0. And you'll see that this allows there to be a little bit of a transition. As you see, it kind of has a blurry fade between the nothingness of being completely invisible and the full solid color inside of the box. So now if we go back here and we hit play, it'll look something like this. And that gives you a smoother transition. So just increase the soft edge as much as you need. And then that will essentially give you your reveal text. So if you want to preview it, go back to the edit page and you can see it a bit bigger here. I'll close the other windows. Okay, that should be good. So let's go here and hit play on our effect. Now we can see if we add a lot of soft edge in that it does make the characters appear before the arrow has passed. So rather than going back and editing all of our keyframes, what we can do on the Fusion page is just create an offset for that rectangle. So with rectangle 1 selected, right click in front of it, do add tool, transform, transform, and now we're just going to move it off center a little bit. So let's pull this to the left, possibly right about there, as much off center as you need it to be. Now when we play the effect, everything is still tracking the arrow, but its position has been moved a little bit off to the right. So this effectively allows us to regain having a smooth effect, and we can show this again on the edit page. So there we go, our text doesn't fade in until the arrow has already passed, which is probably what you would want in this case. So if you were going to do this with another kind of object like a person walking or a ball that moves across the screen, the idea would basically be the same. And as long as the movement is relatively simple, this is all you would need to do, probably no tracking needed. And so that's going to be it for this video on creating a simple reveal text effect inside of DaVinci Resolve 17. So I hope this video was helpful for all of you out there. I've been Chris, thanks for watching, and I will see all of you in my future video content.